We're gonna get started. I know, it's like, but then it's like, it's better than having a metal pipe. Because you can't see the technique.
Okay, so we're going to make the chicken cacciatore, and what we're going to do first off is that we're going to go and season our chicken and get things ready. While that happens, the other person can start to, do the bacon and get the sauce going, okay? Yes, there is bacon, so you're going to get one bacon, and you're going to get 2 thighs, and you're going to be braising the chicken, all right? I might give you 3 just in case. So we're going to start by taking the bacon right here, and we're going to go and season our chicken nice and high, rain it down. I do have kosher salt, so it's less salty. I know that sounds funny, but kosher salt is less salty than regular salt, okay? Because it's not processed, so it's not. It's a little bit bigger crystals, and what that does is that it doesn't make your food taste as quote salty. But obviously, if you add too much salt, it's still do the same thing. So I'm going to salt and pepper it. I'm going to start my braise. Okay? Now, let me tell you once again that when you're searing something, it's not braising. Okay? I'm going to need a towel and also get underneath the cover. It's covered there. There is something like that looks like ricer. It's called a ricer. Okay. So I heat this up, and while that happens, I'm going to also heat this guy up. Okay? So a medium pot. Add a little bit of oil. When you're searing, you are not cooking the meat. You're just searing or sealing the edges, okay? The outside. So I got this nice and hot. It's going to be a hot heat. Searing it. Okay? And I basically leave it at that. While this happens, I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil into this pot. Okay? So I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil. Okay? One thing that you guys are going to keep working on is looking at reducing a sauce. When you're reducing a sauce, it's about making sure you still have sauce. Okay? So make sure that it's free, that it doesn't get too thick. So we're going to start with some of my flavorings that we have here. I'm going to start with some onions. Okay? So I'm going to saute my onions.
Yes. Are you using any kind of feature afterwards putting down on the sheet?
Nope. Nope. So I'm basically making sure this is brown. I'm not cooking it, so it's okay if it's raw. Flip it over, it's golden brown. It doesn't have to be high heat. I'm almost at low heat if you look at it. Okay? So as long as it's sizzling and searing, that's all we want. While that happens, I'm going to cut my bacon into strips. I don't get, are you wondering why I didn't add the bacon first?
No, I'm just trying to check what's going on.
I'm going to turn this off now and let it continue to cook as is. So I started with my onion, and I'm going to add my bacon. Your bacon won't be, it's going to give it flavor, but it's not going to be that crispy bacon that you're going to be expecting, okay? So you have one bacon, one slice will be more than enough. Okay, wash my hands because I touched something that's wrong. Give this a stir. I'm going to try to crisp up my bacon a little bit. It's going to be giving the flavor, but it won't be extra shallots. And I usually just use or add certain things that I find in the kitchen. So I don't have to follow the recipe as is. I know that onions and shallots are similar, so because I have shallots, instead of wasting it, I'm just going to dump it in. Okay? So I'll give it a nice stir. While that happens, I'm going to be adding 2 more things. Okay, I already turned this off, and it's pretty crazy that it's still sizzling as, you know, and it's been over a minute or 2.
Don't feel like chicken fat.
Yeah, all the chicken fat. Okay. So I'm going to go and add, at this point, several things. I'm going to add some chili flakes. Guys, okay? So a pinch of it. If you want a little bit more, you can, but it is kind of spicy. This is the dried chili flakes. The longer you cook it in the fat, okay, the better, the more it starts to give some flavor. So I'm going to put some of the chicken fat in here instead of wasting it. Okay. I'm going to go and cook it. Now I don't want the pot to brown, but I want this to cook. So if you see a little bit of brown, a trick that you could use, which I'll show you once I add my rosemary and garlic. Okay, so I just added some minced garlic and some rosemary. Okay, if you want to know what a rosemary is, it basically looks like a Christmas tree. All right, smells very aromatic, but you need to definitely chop it up. Okay, and the other thing about it is you don't need a lot. Josh, you need a pen? Huh?
Yeah.
You guys. Probably.
I found a pencil left by another student.
Well, you got
Okay. So that's my trick, is that if it looks like it's starting to go too brown, I actually add just a little bit of water. I scrape the bottom. 1, I'm making my pot not burn, so it's easy clean. 2, I'm lifting off all the flavor from the bottom of my pan. Okay? And you might say, oh, that's not part of the recipe. Well, I'm just showing you a trick so that you don't burn your food, and the other thing is you grab more flavor. Okay? So do you guys understand what the when I'm making it, what steps I usually do? The rules are very simple. Basically, the most flavorful that needs more time to bring up flavor, I put it in the beginning. The things that I need less flavor doesn't help if I keep cooking it, I add it last. Does it make sense? So onions, the longer I cook it, the more flavor comes out. I add the bacon because the bacon fat ends up adding more and more flavor. Spices I add after because that's what, as I cook it, it's just gonna, once again, come out the flavor. And whenever you make a braise, I have to say I always say it like a guy-girl relationship. The longer that you guys get to know each other, the more you're like one person. Okay, you get to, finish off each other's sentences, etc., etc. I know it sounds funny, but it's kind of true in terms of, same thing with the soup. If you add it in the, I don't know, anyway, if you add it in the, if you add, same thing with salt, right? Like if you add it in the beginning, at the end, you can taste whatever it is plus the salt. But if you actually add it in the beginning, you taste everything and it comes together, okay? So I'm gonna add a little bit of salt in here. And then now, because mushrooms don't help the flavor, I add it later, okay? And this will be the last thing I'm adding in terms of all the goods. But when you add the mushrooms, you need to cook things on high heat. Do you ever cook mushrooms or see someone cook mushrooms and a whole bunch of water just leaches out onto your pan? Or you see your parents? I used to cook it I used to cook everything at low heat, thinking it's a good thing. But certain things that have a lot of moisture, I cook it in a later time, okay? So as I'm doing this, or at a higher heat. So just out of curiosity, if you ever know, if you see any blue flames, is higher temperature than a orange flame. Once you have orange flame, most likely that means that your stove is dirty. Okay, that's why we clean it so much, because if the flame's coming out and it's just waving around instead of nice and tense, and it's orange, most likely your lines are a little dirty and you need to clean it.
And if the fire's white, and normally that's hotter than a blue fire, right?
Sorry?
If like the blue fire, if it's a white fire, that's hotter than blue fire.
Yes.
But you know, white fires usually come in a kitchen area.
Okay, I'm gonna, at this point, things are browning a little again, so I'm gonna go and lift it off with a little bit of water again. Okay, just to clean off the pot, make sure that all the flavor, I'm not adding a lot, I'm not like adding a cup of water, I'm adding just like a tablespoon at a time. Okay? So then, once my mushrooms are sauteed and brown, I have my blanching water ready to go. And I'm going to go and start to peel my potatoes. If you want really good mashed potatoes, there's different types of potatoes for it. If you want it fluffy, use russet potatoes. Okay, russet potatoes, nice thick brown ones. If you want it so that it is a creamier potato and not fluffy, you'll use like yellow potatoes or the thin skin potatoes. Okay? So both of them, I'm going to have, this is my blanching water pot. I'm going to add this to it. I'm also adding some salt to my potato water. Okay? And at this point in time, I'm going to start adding Marcus? That's the second time you're on YouTube. You're going to go and add your white wine. Okay? You can add a 1/4 cup or even a little bit more. Okay? That's what kind of gives it this lovely taste. Okay? I'm going to burn it off. I'm going to go and add now my, so however much you're going to go and add with your white wine, you're going to add double the amount of stock. So, okay. Most likely you need a 1/4 cup or so of white wine only, and then you need like a 1/2 cup of stock. Okay? Chicken stock. Okay? I will also have right now some tomatoes, which I'm going to crush a little bit in here. And in it goes. Okay? And it'll be the same amount as your stock. So I'm giving you ratios instead of giving you actual amounts now. So does that make sense? You guys got your 1/2 cup. Sorry, not 1/2 cup. You're going to have your wine. Okay, you don't need a lot of it. And then you double the amount of stock and same amount of tomatoes you're going to put in here. Okay. It will taste bitter. It will not taste very good, actually. Too much white wine will end up tasting salty and bitter. So you don't want, like, I had someone who kept adding, like, a lot of white wine, and it didn't taste very good. You need to add certain things in moderation. So add it all in. And at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar just so that it takes away the bitterness. Okay? But I think I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar. This is my own take on it, just to give it a little bit of balance to whatever I'm doing. Once it starts to simmer, I'm going to add my chicken right in there. Okay? So it's starting to simmer. I'm going to add my chicken right in, and it's covered 3/4 of the way, so you see that some of the chicken is still being seen. Okay? And at that point, you're going to go and put a lid on it.
Or in this case,
And you know what? That's what the lid's for. As long as it fits, that's what we have. In the restaurants, we don't even have lids. We just put like sheet pans, anything that we can find. Okay? Next, we're going to go and peel the potatoes. So maybe around 2 potatoes are good. Okay? So if you want, you can start the potatoes anytime. So if you are too busy with doing the meat part, the only thing I ask is that you get the potatoes and everything else in 15 minutes, okay? Or else it won't cook properly. Okay. So once I have my potatoes peeled, you're just going to go and cut it as small as you can so that it cooks faster, but not when it disintegrates. There's two things about the potatoes. If you want to get it to be faster, a lot of people add too much water to the potato pot. All you need is just to add enough water to go and cover it. So if I have too much water at this point, sorry, you're going to pour some of it off and just cover it. You can put a lid on it. There you go. Okay. Vegetables. So I do have just green beans, but you can have any other things that you go with it. So think about what goes really well with like saucy chicken. Okay. It's gonna be saucy. Very saucy. Jalapenos? Okay. So green beans, they're also called French beans. They have a very lovely tip. A lot of people just cut this part off, but you want to cut only the top. So easiest way, we used to do cases of this, guys, is you just line it up. Line up your soldiers. And cut their heads off, yes. That is correct. That's how you do it. Line up the soldiers and cut them, the heads off. Okay? And when this boils, all you do is you just cook it, okay? You can do this with anything. I cook this with squash. I do like broccoli like this. Okay, broccoli is really tasty. Do your blanching, and then all you do is reheat. I do this with carrots, okay, and then that's basically what you're gonna do. Mashed potatoes or pot puree. Easiest way to do it is once you cook this, I have something called a ricer, okay? So anyone played, you know, the barbershop Play-Doh before? No? Is it too old for you? Maybe? Okay. Well, anyone seen it where you actually just put Play-Doh through this and then you press it down and you squeeze it and then like all the stuff comes out? Yeah, the Play-Doh comes out in like little spaghetti strings. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen to your mashed potato. And what that does is it gets out all the lumps. This only works if your potatoes are completely cooked. If not, you're going to have a hard time pressing through. And as you can see with my lovely ricer, someone had trouble with it. If you look at it, it's like the peony. It's no longer that basketball trick. Do you ever guys play the peony, like the basketball game? And you always think, why is it doesn't go in? Majority of the time, it's because the hoop looks like this. It's rigged. So it looks like this. So be careful when you guys push it in that you don't try to jam it. Some guys just kept jamming it, and that's why it looks like this. It used to be a circle. Okay. When you pass it through, there's two parts to this. When you press it through, there's two parts to this. One is you're gonna go and have a small pot over here. It can be small pot or anything else, and I'm gonna go and start to infuse my cream. Okay, so I need one more pot actually. So what we're gonna do, Sam, can you get me a? And I'm gonna infuse a small pot. How are you gonna do this? So, well, once you sear, you no longer need it, right?
Yeah, a small pot or like a really small pot?
Well, you can share your blanching pot with other people, right? Beautiful. Okay, so this is boiling, perfect. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cream. A little bit turned to a lot. There's two things that make a really good mashed potato. You need the cream. Obviously, the cream is to make it creamy. Butter is to make it fluffy. Okay? This is what you need. A lot of people actually use olive oil or whatever it is. I don't know. No. You can add in here all your spices now, and I'm gonna kind of like infuse the cream. Kind of like when you're steeping a tea. You know, you're gonna go and draw the flavor out from the tea, and you're gonna go and put it into your water. Same thing. My cream has nothing. I'm gonna put rosemary. You can put, as long as it's hearty herb, you can put it in. So not parsley. You can put garlic. You can put spices in here. Okay. And for me, I'm just gonna do rosemary because we did rosemary. Okay. But you could do sage. You could do thyme. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. And then I turn this on, and I heat it all the way down to low. And I don't want this to bubble. That's not my goal. My goal is just to infuse the cream so it's not bubbling at all. Okay. Now this guy is getting a beating out of it, so I'm gonna turn this down. Okay. And I'm gonna cook it until my chicken's cooked. Once the chicken is cooked, I'm gonna reduce the sauce. That's the third thing about a braise. A braise is that you use this liquid that you braise it in, and that will become your sauce, okay? Lots of flavor, everything else, but you gotta make it sauce-like. So what is the consistency of a sauce? Can someone tell me? You've learned this from last time. Coat your spoon. Coat the spoon, but not your tongue. That's one. What's another one? Tolu, since you are ready to talk.
No.
They're talking about the chicken when they put it in.
Yes.
I see.
Well, sure.
My question for you is, how do you know what the sauce is supposed to be like? What's the sauce supposed to be like? How do I know some indicators? Sorry? Wait, guys. Okay. We'll ask Tolu first, and then I'll go with you, okay? Yeah, Tolu? It's like a sauce.
Oh,
that was
Some
great.
more indicator. Last time we talked about this is key because I'm asking you to know exactly how to make a sauce. So Cam, what is it? Pardon me?
like when you tilt the plate, it slides.
Yeah, when you tilt the plate, it slides. It's not running like water, nor is it sitting there and all I have is just the chunks of food in there, okay? Some of you guys, when you guys were reducing, you should never get to the point where you can't see any liquid. When you don't see any liquid, that means you over-reduced it, okay? You should always see liquid. Always, whenever you're making your sauce, reduce the liquid by half and then add the next liquid, okay? So, I have my water boiling. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some ice, which Joel's going to help me get. Okay, and we're going to get some ice water. Before you guys go, I always see this. Is that I've seen a lot of people, whenever they're cooking blanching water, look how much water I have. I have it almost full. Yeah. When you're blanching, it's a full pot of water, not just an inch or anything like that. Okay?
Start breathing. Wow.
Almost?
What do you need, Chef?
Just a little.
This way.
Second thing that I've seen, almost? Got some ice?
I got some.
Okay.
Come on. I do need some.
One ice cube? Alright. When you're blanching. Thank you guys.
Good try, Joel. Got it.
When you're blanching, one thing you need to make sure is that the water is full. Second, the water is boiling, okay? And you should add it in small batches. I mean, you're doing a little bit at a time, so you can share this blanching water. Usually, I've done like cases of green beans or whatever, so you have it ready. And the third thing is I should not be seeing anyone, and I mean anyone. This is part of mise en place, is making sure that once you have everything, you don't leave your station. You don't need to leave your station to grab something that you forgot. make sure you have everything here before you cook. Okay? So what you're gonna do, and if I were my just cooking regularly, I already went one time past because I was I got Sam to give me a pot. Okay? Yes, Marcus.
What about for the ice? Like, won't that knowledge be just like get
No.
it together?
Huh? No.
Okay.
You can get it without adding the water. Okay? And you can blanch whenever. You can blanch it in the very beginning. As long as you just don't leave it in the water, and then just heat it at the very end, you're good. So once it's boiling, I make sure that my ice water is here. I drop it in. Oh, so sorry. Didn't mean to do that, honestly. So you're gonna put it in. Let me show you the difference between the two. Now Marcus is really scared.
Yeah.
I'll drop it lower next time. Josh, can you go and get me the green beans? Just one of them. And how do you tell the difference is that it's rock hard, and then when you know it's done is that it starts to slightly give. It's kind of a little bit squishy, but not like when you press it. Yeah, it slightly gives. Okay, so just feel your thumb, you feel it, and it like slightly gives. Okay, yeah. So I want to show you the difference between, and you can even see it with the water. With the lights off. I'll turn this off because I boiled it, I steeped it. And once this is ready, slightly gives, then shock it in ice water. Not shots, shock.
Oh,
I know.
That makes more sense.
Shock versus shot.
Yeah.
I know. Confusing. Rhymes. Really. Okay, so pull this out. The reason why you put it in ice water is that you shock it, and also because that's what gives it the right flavor. You don't leave it in there because there's water-soluble nutrients that goes into the water, and you don't get the nutrients. Okay. Second thing is don't take it out until it's dry. Cold. So shake it off once it's cold. Yeah. Don't take it off until it's dry. Whatever. But I want you to see the difference between the two. Like if you want to see the difference between the brightness, it's like a significant difference, and that happens with any type of vegetable too.
Wait, which one's cooked, right?
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, but you can see a significant difference between the two, even on they're a little darker. Okay. So once that's done, so you can do this in the very beginning. Like I said, I do this for like literally days, and I don't need to go and I can pre-prepare my food. But with my vegetables all blanched, because it's already cooked, I don't need to go and cook it until it's like ready to place onto the plate. Okay? So Danny, can you go and choose for me what plate you would like this time?
Danny, pick the right one. Danny. That's the wrong way.
No, Danny, that one's ugly.
That's a nice plate, but we are doing an entree, so you want it bigger. When it comes to
Bigger.
okay, this is the smallest that you can go. Okay, because you want your plate when it comes to entrees, the bigger it is, the more grand it looks. So you want to go and make it bigger. So when you know that your potatoes are ready, take the biggest one, cook it. It should be fork tender. It starts to break apart. Once that's done, you're gonna go and get it through a strainer and strain out all the water. And then now we're gonna play spaghetti. Or Play-Doh. Okay.
Stream.
You guys ever played that before? No?
I played with it.
Yeah, right? Is it this neat?
I always make Play-Doh.
Oh, that's cool. My aunt does that too. So,
I played though.
you're gonna go and put it in. Okay, you're gonna push it in, and you're gonna see some of the water coming out, and then you just press through. Okay? You okay, Jen? You look like you're a bit disgusted.
That's good.
Okay?
Good job.
Do it again. And it's going to be a very creamy. Now remember, I salted the water, so I don't have to really salt it again. Then you're okay? Okay. You look like you're in shock. Should we try this again? You're like a green to me, like, yes. What does it look like? Maggots? Oh. Now you got that picture in my head. It all looks like maggots. You're gonna make maggots now. I never thought of that.
Now I have that. Maggots are gross, trust me.
Thanks, Jen.
Way to go, Jen.
Jen, now I always can think of it as maggots.
You'll be getting an F minus.
Okay, and it goes, everything is in. Okay.
No African jokes.
Did you know that? That was on YouTube, right? Yeah, that everyone thinks that like we're. Okay. Good. Now don't forget about this guy. This is almost done. Once this is done, how do I know? I basically can flip it over, and then if I take it out, it actually is, it's starting to leave the bone, and it's starting to, when I kind of take a look at it, there's no blood on there, okay? All right? And at that point, it's ready to eat portion, okay? It's not ready to eat, because the second thing I'm gonna do at this point will be putting it onto a, we'll put it on here. I'll put it in here.
No.
I put my chicken in. It's gray, so it's not like a crispy skin. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna reduce the sauce. So the sauce is gonna be nice and thick, okay? It coats this, but not your mouth. It coats your chicken, okay? Yes, that was you, Mr. Chibali. Okay? Alright. Now I'm gonna go and add a little bit of my cream here now. Okay? And as I do it, I'm gonna add also some lovely butter. Check how much I'm gonna add. Okay? You always wonder why mashed potatoes are so good. It's literally because of the amount of butter and cream you add. Huh? The fire's not on? I don't want it.
Why is that stuff?
It just infuses, so it's of course. So,
At least you have the courage to ask a question.
you say you have the courage to ask this question. So, I'm gonna go and add it, and it's gonna be really creamy and loose. But as you continue to cook, what will happen to it is your food is it's gonna stiffen up as it absorbs. Okay, so I'm gonna taste it. Wait, do you guys want some more butter or just butter? More butter?
No.
Yeah, of course, more butter, right? More butter. More butter. What can happen? There's many different reasons for heart attacks, actually.
Butter is bad for your heart, but margarine is bad for your heart.
Huh?
Margarine is really bad for you too.
Margarine is worse for you, actually.
It's a margin.
In different ways.
Huh?
In different ways.
In different ways, yes.
It's margarine butter.
Okay, so if you look at it, it's loose. Okay? So if you want to take a look at it, it's loose. My hint for you guys, once you guys
Oh, so good.
So,
We're oddballs.
how do you know that this is I'm gonna taste it. It's supposed to be fluffy but not gluey. And the reason why this turns gluey, can I continue on?
Yeah.
Next time, the reason why it turns gluey is really simple because if you let the potatoes cool down, they will turn very gluey. It will be stretchy, okay? And then it's no longer fluffy, and that's something that you need to prevent. So when you taste it, it should be a fluffy texture, okay? Maggots taste awesome. Just saying.
I wanted to try one.
Yeah. You add more butter, then it'll become more buttery. Obviously, we're not adding a whole pound of butter. Too much? Then it'll taste like just butter and not potatoes. But there's no big, huge negative consequence to it. Okay.
Sorry, no dishes.
Yep.
Demo dishes. Look at all this pile of dishes for you.
I'm dry.
Lastly, I'm gonna put it all together now. Everything needs to be hot because food safety is you gotta make sure in order to be safe and all the bacteria. So I can still have bacteria in my food. How do I know when it's that's safe to eat? I need to reheat my food to what temperature?
75.
75, incorrect.
4 to 90.
40, 90. Ooh, that's
No, 4 to 90.
4 to 90. 4 to 90.
64.
64, incorrect.
71.
74 is correct.
I said 71 the first time, and then you said no, and then I said 64.
No, I actually-
And you were like, 71.
4 to 60, actually.
That's because I'm listening to Josh, and his was incorrect.
4 to 90.
Taste this. Very tasty. So look how I heat up my I'm gonna add, there's enough butter, so we're gonna leave the butter out. We're gonna go and add a little bit of oil. There's a lot of talking, and it's really hard for me to go and make sure that everyone hears what I say. Okay, I'm just heating it nice and low. I'm just heating it up. I don't want it to go and taint this color. It's a really nice color. Okay, but when I touch it, it should be nice and hot. So I actually do touch it. Okay. Once that's ready, I'm going to start by adding my potatoes. Okay, notice that everything else is still simmering away, but it should be a nice mound. Okay. I don't want any brown on your vegetables. If it's green, it shouldn't be brown. Okay, that's not the natural color. That means that you over.
Except like we're making it on natural color too by making it blanch, and then it gets brighter, and that's not its natural color, and therefore if it was brown, we're doing the same
No,
thing.
you're enhancing its natural color.
Can't enhance perfection.
Do you think so?
I'm pretty sure.
That God didn't actually intend for us to take care of what He gave us, made it even better.
When you put it that way.
So I should not be seeing also you guys stirring with these spoons or using your forks or whatever. This is only when you're serving, okay? And I've seen it before, so make sure that you guys prevent that. Okay, you'll see that you will get a lot of sauce. But in goes my chicken again. I'm gonna coat it. Okay, when I recoat certain things, that's called nappe. Not taking it out. The nappe means to just coat. Okay. All right. Once it's coated, okay, make sure that it's boiling a little bit. I'm gonna serve it. Everything should still be hot.
Right here, right?
Just put it right on top.
He wasn't.
I know it was.
Yes, it's mushrooms.
Adam, where did Adam go?
Oh, I think he's writing his test.
Oh.
So that's it.
Maybe he just left.
Chef, I have a question that someone just asked me. How come you put the sauce on top and not on the side?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. How is that a snap?
Because you told us not to put it on top because it makes it soggy.
Ah. But isn't this soggy anyway? Marcus? Well, last time, let's stick it on your breaded pork. Was it crispy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the skin's crispy when you see it.
Yeah, but
You
it's
don't have to do
good.
it every time after.
But when you, okay, well,
The sauce is
The guy who ran around and then like jumped.